Something unimaginable is happening in the United States. The lines of cars at drive-thrus have disappeared, the neon signs are slowly going out, and the familiar smell of fried food is fading from American streets. From New York to Nevada, once crowded restaurants are closing their doors at a rate the country hasn't seen in decades. Prices have skyrocketed, wages are stagnating, and the families who relied on these quick, cheap meals can no longer afford them. Behind every closed sign lies a broken promise, that of affordable and always available food. But in 2025, this illusion is crumbling. This is the story of the fallen giants, the fall of the American fast food empire. Number 10. Taco Bell. Taco Bell was the kingdom of joyful chaos, crazy menus, late-night lines, and a young, offbeat energy. In 2025, that spark is gone. Foot traffic is down 11%, margins are the lowest they've been in 20 years, and even the famous dollar menu is a thing of the past. Combos that used to cost $5.99 are now flirting with $9.50. For young people, the core customer base, it's a no-go. As a result, more than 250 restaurants could close or rebrand by the end of the year. Behind the scenes, franchisees are grumbling. Between rising fees, ingredient prices, and opaque decisions, many accuse corporate of sacrificing the brand at the altar of profit. And when a brand built on accessibility loses its value, it loses its soul. Even the return of legendary old products like the Mexican pizza hasn't restarted the engine. Consumers don't want quirky new items anymore, they want stable prices. For a whole generation, Taco Bell represented freedom, impromptu nights out, and carelessness. Today, it's just another symbol of an economy where even a taco becomes a luxury. Number 9. Popeyes. We all remember the 2019 madness surrounding the Popeyes chicken sandwich, but that era seems very distant. In 2025, the chain is suffering a severe setback. Traffic is down 15%, sales are down 7%, and a combo that was once $6.99 now nears $12 in some cities. For many, that's too much. Franchisees are suffocating. Frying oil is up 32%, chicken is up 28%, exorbitant rents, and a marketing strategy focused on ephemeral products that confuses more than it builds loyalty. Drive-through wait times are exploding, customer satisfaction has fallen below the 70% mark, and international expansion has siphoned vital resources from American restaurants. Closures are appearing from the South to the East Coast. For modest households, Popeyes represented that little reward, that greasy, comforting moment. But in 2025, even this pleasure has become a luxury. It's not just the end of a star sandwich, it's the end of an era. Number 8. Denny's. For decades, Denny's was the late-night refuge for working-class America, for those pulling all-nighters to study, or for those crossing the country behind the wheel of their truck. Today, that image is fading. The chain that once prided itself on always being open is now closing restaurants in an almost awkward silence. Nearly 180 locations are set to disappear by the end of the year. The reasons are piled up: rising costs, a massive drop in foot traffic, and a customer base that can no longer afford it. Breakfast platters that used to hover around $7.99 now exceed $14. Even the bottomless coffee is gone, replaced by a clumsy surcharge. The dining rooms that were still buzzing at 3 a.m. are now just rows of empty booths lit by for lease signs. Executives admit the late-night economy has collapsed. Many restaurants can't even find the staff to maintain 24-hour service. In many small Midwestern towns, the closure of a Denny's hits especially hard. It wasn't just a restaurant, it was a hub for the community, a place full of life. It offered affordable meals, employed locals, and was a crossroads for travelers. Now the parking lots once brought to life by neon signs are plunged into darkness. Financially, the picture's bleak. Sales are down 5.8%, profits have plummeted by 40%, inflation and rising rents are crushing margins, and burnt-out franchisees are abandoning their locations. The truth is hard to swallow. Denny's isn't just losing customers, it's losing its place in society. Younger generations want smoothies, protein bowls, Wi-Fi, and trendy coffee shops. The American diner, that symbol from the movies and of the American way of life, has become a relic of a country that doesn't really exist anymore. Number 7. Dairy Queen. For millions of Americans, Dairy Queen was a part of childhood. It was the little treat after school, the ice cream that cooled down summer afternoons, a place where simple but precious memories were made. But in 2025, that magic is literally melting away. Revenues have dropped by 12% in 1 year, and more than 200 locations have closed, especially in rural areas. In many small towns, DQ was sometimes the only place you could get a dessert. Today, their storefronts display permanently closed signs where the sweet smell of soft serve once wafted. The problem isn't just inflation, it's the brand's entire place in the market that's faltering. As families cut back on pleasure spending, ice cream consumption is collapsing across the country. An average Blizzard that sold for $4.29 in 2019 now costs over $7, a price that scares away the modest households that were once its core customers. And even attempts at modernization, mobile ordering, digital menus, have put franchisees in a tough spot as these updates cost tens of thousands of dollars that many can no longer afford to invest. The staff shortage doesn't help. Some restaurants can't even maintain full hours, and service-related complaints have exploded by 40%. Experts are clear. With margins under 4%, survival is almost impossible. The hardest part is the emotional impact. Dairy Queen wasn't just a brand. It was a landmark, a sweet escape, a piece of nostalgia. But nostalgia, unfortunately, doesn't pay the rent or the salaries. And in 2025, one of the country's most iconic ice cream chains is slowly disappearing like a cone left too long in the sun. Number 6. KFC. KFC long reigned over fried chicken. It was a symbol of comfort, tradition, and shared family meals. Yet 2025 marks a dark year. In just 2 years, nearly 500 restaurants have disappeared from the American landscape. In several states, sales are dropping by 15 to 20%, and many franchisees are giving up, unable to keep up with the rising price of oil, chicken, and labor. The famous $5 fill-up, it now exceeds $9.79, which alienates the very customers the brand was targeting. Internal reports revealed in early 2025 show that foot traffic is dropping by about 10% each quarter. Meanwhile, competitors like Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A are winning over younger generations with faster service and a more modern image. The real problem is that KFC has failed to evolve. Its online sales are lagging, menu innovations are no longer convincing, and for many young people, the brand seems straight out of another era. But behind these numbers, there's a human cost. For decades, the Sunday chicken bucket was a family ritual. Today, that same bucket has become a luxury. Families that once celebrated their weekends with a KFC meal are now turning to frozen chicken from the supermarket. The Colonel continues to smile on the signs, but behind that smile, an entire empire's cracking. The chicken is still crispy, but the future, well, it's completely burnt. Number 5. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut was the pizzeria for birthdays, TV game nights, and family evenings. You immediately think of the red booze, the checkered tablecloths, and that unmistakable smell of dough baking in the oven. But 2025 marks a brutal decline for the brand. Sales at existing restaurants are plummeting by 8%, and more than 400 locations have closed in a year and a half. The dine-in concept, which was once Pizza Hut's strength, has become a huge financial burden. The reality is simple. Eating habits have changed, but Pizza Hut has remained frozen in time. Competitors, Domino's, Papa John's, and even ghost kitchens on apps offer faster, cheaper, and more modern delivery options. The famous $10 pizza now costs $16.99, plus delivery fees that make the bill skyrocket. For many families, it's become a luxury. Even loyal customers are complaining. Smaller portions, longer wait times, rising prices. Franchisees, for their part, are suffocating. A 30% increase on ingredients, a 20% increase on labor, and rising rents. Some are throwing in the towel, and emotionally, it's a real blow. Pizza Hut was a symbol of family unity for generations. Today, its dining rooms are empty, the buffets deserted, the signs flickering weakly. The pizza hasn't changed its taste, but the atmosphere, the warmth, everything that made up the soul of Pizza Hut has been extinguished. Number 4. Subway. Subway was supposed to be the simple, fast, and healthier alternative to classic fast food. However, in 2025, the chain is going through one of the worst collapses in the history of the American restaurant industry. Since 2021, more than 3,200 establishments have closed, and hundreds more are expected to follow by the end of the year. The brand, once ubiquitous in city centers, gas stations, and university campuses, now resembles a ghost brand, a relic of overexpansion, inflation, and broken promises. The famous $5 footlong now costs over $10, and for many, it's no longer worth it at all. The quality of the bread is criticized, the ingredients vary from shop to shop, and customers are beginning to doubt this famous freshness. Most of the restaurants look old, poorly maintained, sometimes with faded signs or understaffed counters. The attempt to sell the chain to investment funds turned into a fiasco. Franchisees inherit enormous rents and plummeting sales. Meanwhile, Jersey Mike's and Firehouse Subs are winning over customers with better products, more transparency, and warmer service. Subway's decline is not just economic. It touches on American culture. Subway used to represent the quick lunch for workers and students, the healthy and cheap option. Today, it's become a symbol of a collapsing dream, that of a cheap, simple, and high-quality meal. The ovens continue to bake bread, but the soul of the brand has been consumed. Number 3. Burger King. For a long time, Burger King was the only real challenger to McDonald's, the outsider who proudly claimed its have it your way. But by 2025, the famous kingdom of flame-grilled food is teetering dangerously. More than 400 restaurants have already closed, and the giant's market share has fallen below 9%, a level it had never reached before. With inflation, one of its biggest assets, affordable menus, has literally vanished. A Whopper meal, which used to cost around $6.29, now exceeds $11. For many modest families, once at the heart of its clientele, it has simply become out of their budget. And that's not all. The marketing campaigns that once generated so much buzz are no longer able to mask criticisms of slow service, the state of the dining rooms, and portions that seem to be getting smaller month by month. Behind the scenes, it's even more chaotic. Franchisees are directly asking management to intervene, claiming they have been losing money for months. In 2025 alone, several dozen restaurants filed for bankruptcy, especially in Ohio, Michigan, and Florida. Management points to operational problems, but employees speak frankly of mismanagement and greed-driven decisions. But Burger King's downfall is not just financial. For generations, it was the chain of those who wanted to do things their own way, a symbol of freedom, personalization, and attitude. Today, that rebellious spirit has disappeared. The charm of the flame-grilled burger has given way to a corporate smokescreen that is suffocating the brand. While McDonald's reinvents itself and Wendy's modernizes, Burger King seems stuck in another era. An aging restaurant, an outdated menu, and images that are gradually fading away. The ground still shines in the ads, but behind the counters, there's not much left of the kingdom. In 2025, the former number 2 American burger chain is slowly becoming just another ghost in the fast food world. Number 2. Wendy's. For decades, Wendy's was the star student of the burger trio, a brand that focused on freshness, transparency, and a certain kind of honesty. Quality is our recipe, as they used to say. But in 2025, even Wendy's can't seem to stay on its feet against the economic storm hitting the sector. In-restaurant traffic has dropped by more than 6%, and franchises are closing faster than they're renovating. This year alone, more than 140 locations have shut their doors, and many others are reporting unsustainable margins. And the numbers speak for themselves. The famous 4 for $4, the ultimate symbol of value, now costs almost $8. Even the Frosty, once 99 cents, has doubled in price. For a working-class parent trying to give their kids a little treat, Wendy's is no longer an economical option. It's become a luxury. And behind the smile and redhead logo, the situation isn't any brighter. The price of beef has jumped by 24%. Delivery app commissions are eating into profits, and the modernization requirements imposed by corporate cost a fortune. Franchisees are starting to lose patience. According to them, innovation doesn't pay the bills. But the real tragedy lies elsewhere. Wendy's built its reputation on trust, fresh products, and simplicity. Today, social media is filled with jokes about its shrinking burgers and soggy fries. The Frosty is still churning in the ads, but the heart of Wendy's, that image of honesty and approachability, is melting under the pressure of inflation and an exhausted management. In 2025, the Wendy's experience has become colder, less welcoming, almost foreign to the customers who once knew it. The little redhead girl continues to smile on the cups, but the customers, well, they're not smiling back. Number 1. McDonald's. It's hard to believe, but even McDonald's, the giant of all giants, is starting to crack. The global symbol of cheap and convenient food is going through one of the worst periods in its history. In 2025, visits in the U.S. have dropped by nearly 10%, and even executives admit the low-income consumers, their main customer base, are no longer keeping up. And how can you blame them? The famous $1 menu is gone. The average price of a meal is approaching $11.79, and the Big Mac, which was $3.99 in 2019, is now flirting with $7.49. For many families who used to go there by default, McDonald's has become too expensive. As if that weren't enough, an E. coli outbreak linked to its onions in 2024 sent over 100 people to the hospital, further eroding public trust. Franchisees, for their part, are at their wits' end. Soaring rents, rising labor costs, more expensive raw materials, and a corporate office that imposes digital kiosks and AI systems that disrupt as much as they improve, especially for older customers. But what hurts the most is the symbolic impact. For decades, McDonald's represented a simple idea, the affordable American dream. A familiar, bright place, accessible to everyone. In 2025, the golden arches still shine, but they no longer symbolize joy, only nostalgia. The playgrounds are empty, the dining rooms are darker, and the prices are a stark reminder of how comfort food has never been so hard to afford. The burgers are still hot, the fries are still salty, but the heart of McDonald's itself seems to have grown cold. Even the country's most recession-proofed company can no longer resist reality. In America, even comfort has become too expensive.